I said after episode 1 that I was ready for Subaru to get slaughtered. I just didn't expect it to happen that fast. Episode 2 keeps the momentum from the premiere but shifts the gear. Still moving, just at a different tempo. Less setup, more danger. And the moment that famous sound effect hit, the one that plays when time rewinds, when Subaru wakes up and that look of horror crosses his face as he realizes he died again, I was like, yeah, this is ReZero. We are back. I'll be honest, I was a little worried after episode 1 that maybe the show would shy away from it, that 4 seasons in they would soften the edges a bit. They did not. And I'm glad. If you're watching this series of videos on season 4 and you want to share your read on what's coming, drop it in the comments. No manga spoilers please, but theories are welcome. Starting at Roswell's mansion felt right, not just as a staging point, but as something more than that. Because think about what that farewell actually meant. Nobody has ever returned from the Pleiades Watchtower. Nobody. So the people staying behind at the mansion, that goodbye wasn't just a departure. It was potentially a permanent one for them. And the episode didn't dwell on it. It just let it be what it was. A quick farewell that the characters themselves maybe didn't fully want to acknowledge, and moved on. That restraint was the right call, because making it a big emotional scene would have felt false. These are people who know the risks and are going anyway. You don't need a speech for that. And before they leave the area entirely, there's a small detail at the pub that I want to make sure you didn't sleep on. A local mentions that over the past year, people have seen a strange white bird flying toward the Pleiades Watchtower. It's stated clearly but briefly, and it's easy to let it wash over you. Don't. In a show like ReZero, details like that exist for a reason. File it away. I expected the Augria sand dunes to look like some kind of a fantasy forest. I have no idea why. It says dunes right there, but whatever. What we got instead was genuinely interesting visually. And here is the thing that the episode does well with the dunes. From the outside, they look manageable. Long journey, yes. Difficult terrain, yes. But you look at it and think, okay, this is hard but survivable. And then you get inside, and the sandstorms hit, and the mobbeasts start appearing. And suddenly, the distance between what it looked like and what it actually is becomes the whole point. That contrast was deliberate and it worked. Now, Melee, I want to give credit where it's due. A person in the comments on my episode 1 video took the time to write a really detailed explanation of her character and her history that got me back up to speed. So thank you genuinely for that. It made a difference for me. Because this episode showed exactly why she's here. She turns to Subaru at one point, "Do you see my worth now?" and then demonstrates it immediately. No mobbeasts are attacking. That's her doing. She's not just a character the show dragged along for logistics. She's the reason this crossing is even possible. And the show made that clear without making a big announcement out of it. And then the light. I didn't see it coming. When that beam hit Subaru the first time, I was like, okay, something is happening. And then the sound, and then the face. That look of horror that Subaru gets when he wakes up after dying. That moment of piecing together that he's back and that means he's dead and now he has to figure out why. That never gets old. Season 4 and it still hits. What's interesting here isn't just that he dies, it's who is targeting him. The tower is firing specifically at Subaru, not Emilia, not Julius, not Beatrice, him. Every time, selectively. From a distance, that means whatever is doing this can see them all, and it's choosing him. Why him specifically? I don't know. The obvious answer is that he's the protagonist and the story needs him in danger, but beyond that, does the tower or whoever is operating it know something about Subaru that we don't? Does he look like he's in charge? Is there something about him that reads differently to whatever is watching? And if Shola, who we'll get to, is the one firing, then why is she firing on someone she then says she's been looking for? That contradiction is the hook, and I'm not letting go of it. Also, and this is something I don't think I said enough in the first video, watching Subaru die in loops and piece together the puzzle is genuinely one of the best mechanics in anime. Not just the dying, the solving. Every death is a clue. Every return is a chance to apply what he learned. It feels like a puzzle he has to solve, not just for himself, but for everyone around around him. That's what makes it work across 4 seasons. The deaths aren't suffering for suffering's sake, they are information. A field of flowers in the middle of a desert, just sitting there. That landed as both beautiful and unsettling in exactly the right proportion. Because the sand dunes already taught you that something can look harmless from the outside, so when you suddenly drop into this completely different environment, flowers, soft light, like a chunk of somewhere else was placed in the wrong location, you don't trust it. Even if it's beautiful, especially because it's beautiful. It reminded me of that feeling in the dunes. Safe from the outside, dangerous once you're in. And sure enough, as the episode went on, the flower field felt more and more dangerous, not less. The show built that atmosphere without announcing it. You just gradually realize that being in this place was wrong. And Subaru figured that out the hard way, multiple times. The sandworm plus the tower firing simultaneously. Chaotic in a good way. Not hard to follow. Just a lot happening at once in a way that felt earned rather than manufactured. And then Beatrice's barrier destabilizes the ground. That I did not see coming. It wasn't a convenient plot device, it felt like a genuine consequence. Magic interacting with the workspace around the tower in a way that nobody planned for and nobody could have predicted. The ground caves in. Subaru, Beatrice, Patriarch, and others fall through, and suddenly they are underground, somewhere beneath or near the tower, in an entirely different situation than the one they were managing 2 minutes ago. Subaru using his own magic alongside Beatrice, I'll be honest, I forgot he could do that. 2 years between seasons will do that too. But once it happened, it felt completely earned. And what I appreciate about Subaru in moments like this is that it's not just the return from death that makes him useful, it's his wit. The moment earlier where he figured out how to handle the creature in the flower field without waking everything else up, that's Subaru. Using what he has, solving the puzzle with the tools available. He is capable. And the show remembering to show that alongside the dying is important. Found you. That's how the episode ends. Shalah's voice. Underground, right at the moment when everything has already collapsed and the situation couldn't be more uncertain. And I'm excited, like genuinely, immediately excited in a way that made me want episode 3 right now. Because here is the thing, if Shala is the one who has been firing on Subaru this whole time, then why is she saying found you like she's been looking for him? That's not how you treat someone you've been trying to kill. So either she wasn't targeting him or she was targeting him to find him. Or she's something completely unpredictable that I don't have a framework for yet. We've barely seen her, just the bottom half of her face. And that restraint is doing its job. I want to know more. I just hope that when the show fully reveals her, she stays interesting. Because a character that's built up this carefully and then just becomes a shelf character after the arc would be a real waste. The ending underground, I want to be clear about what we actually saw. They fell under the surface, and whether that puts them directly beneath the tower or just somewhere underground near it, I'm not certain. But what I'm certain about is the question it leaves you with. Does this mean Subaru loops again? Or did falling underground actually move the puzzle forward? Did they solve something by accident? That's what I need episode 3 to answer. Episode 2 of ReZero Season 4 is the show remembering what it is. The dunes, the deaths, the loops, the puzzle, the moment of falling through the ground into something unknown, and then a voice saying, found you like she's been waiting. This is ReZero, and I'm back in completely. What's your read on Shala? Threat, ally, or something the show hasn't given us a category for yet? Drop it in the comments. And if there is a specific moment from episode 2 you want me to go deeper on, or anything else, tell me that too. See you in episode 3.